Good. So, man, just pick up the microphone in front of you. There you go.
Mic check, one check. Oh, okay.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, thank you.
I think if people were looking at this fight in advance, they thought they would lean if you were going to get a finish, it would be by a knockout. Did you know the submission was there, or did it just kind of happen?
Nope, I knew it was there. He's 6'4"? You know how long his neck is? His neck is long as hell. And I knew as soon as he got in all of his fights, when he gets tired, most of the people be trying to take him down, but he ends up wrestling with them. But I'm not trying to take you down. I'm trying to punch your skull in. So I knew he would have to force a takedown. And I knew, like, that's my guillotine. I get it all the time. I catch black belts with it. I mean, I catch a lot of people with it because it's surprising because of the way that I reach over top of it. And they go out to the side, which is where you go for a real guillotine, but in that reverse modified guillotine, it actually makes the choke tighter.
Yeah, because when it started off, it was almost like a kickboxing Muay Thai fight. You're just
Right.
back and forth, back and forth. In your head, then, do you think all I have to do is wait until the third round and you're going to get tired and then I can catch?
Once he stayed on my back and he couldn't sub me, and I rolled over inside his legs, that's what let me know his legs were already tired. And I'm like, okay, he's going to have to shoot, and he's freaking 6 foot tall. So in order for him to get to my hips, he's going to have to close about 4 feet level down. And he was doing it lazily, and I was elbowing him. He didn't like it, and I knew he was going to give me. I kind of went for a choke at the end of the second round, and no lie, he almost had me in a Von Flue choke because that shit was tight. I was like, oh, because my man Chris Dempsey was screaming at me. He goes, let go of the guillotine when the person's passing over. And I was like, I'm going to hold on to this shit. I'm going to roll him over. And his big-ass long legs did not roll over. And I was sitting there, I heard my corner say, I could have sworn they said 10 seconds, but I guess they said 30 seconds. And I looked up, and I was like, oh, my God. And I could feel it getting tight, so I had to, like, really squirm and, like, kind of give up the mount position for him to get out of it. But, yeah, so.
I mean, how close was it? Like, really close, or?
Nah, when it starts getting really close, I might bite you.
Okay, well.
1 point, Mr. Worthy.
Don't
1 point. You know?
You were training for Michael Johnson before this fight. What's the switch up like?
Well, actually, I wasn't training for Michael Johnson. I only trained for Michael Johnson for 1 week. I was training for Edelman Azatar. That was my original opponent for the April card. Then he got canceled 10 days out or 2 weeks out, and they asked me Michael Johnson. I said, yeah. So, like, I really, like, him and Michael Johnson were both southpaws. Like I said, my main training partner, shout out to John Diaz-Sous, he's a southpaw. Him and my man Nick Brown and Big Ethan and a couple other guys and Richie Catalina, they came down, helped me get some southpaw work in. I really didn't have much time to prepare for it, but because my main training partner is a southpaw, and he's a slick, fast southpaw, Dana White, get at him. Him and Nick Brown, seriously, like I don't know what's up, man. Like my man Nick Brown's 9-1, and he like 8 finishes. John's on a 5-fight win streak. I think he's like 12-6 or 7 or something. They both should be in the UFC, so hopefully this gives a little bit more attention to a small town Pittsburgh boys.
Congrats on the win, man.
Thank you.
Khama, 2-0 in the UFC, both times heavy underdogs. What's your message to all the odds makers?
Money. Cardi B, money. They just throwing money here. People making money off me, man. I'm cool with it. I told everyone. I told my older brother. I said, yo, bet like $2,000 on me. I'm like, bet on me, dude. I'm like, I'm not freaking losing this fight. I have a family. I own a gym right now. Like shit, the whole world might get shut down again. So I might not be having enough money. So I need to make as much money as possible. So if I'm in there fighting, I'm gonna fight to my death. So the odds makers are stupid, obviously.
Veteran in MMA. Different promotions early on in your career. You lost to Billy Quarantino here in the UFC and also Paul Felder. What have you learned from your mistakes in the past?
Everything. I also lost to Kyle Nelson, who was supposed to fight tonight, but he couldn't get in. I've learned everything from my losses. That's the reason I am, like when people talk about my loss, I'm like, do you think that makes me more dangerous or less dangerous? Like that makes me more dangerous. I've been scraped off the floor 5 times. I lost my first pro fight. You know, I've always been pushed to the back burner, and yet here I stand. That makes me really dangerous. I'm like a phoenix, man. I just keep rising out of the dirt, keep going, keep coming forward.
You were a model in your early 20s, maybe
you
New
can
York
tell, right?
City. Yeah, I can tell. But when did you want to make the transition to fighting, to not get hit, or to get hit in your beautiful?
I don't get hit that much, as you can tell. Like I don't got a lot of scar tissue. I don't like getting hit. But I was like about 20 years old, and this guy, I was up there. I was actually like to model. You gotta like stay in shape. So I was always at the gym kicking bags and stuff. And this guy was like, "Hey." Older black dude. He's like, hey, you ever thought of doing MMA? And like, I've done traditional martial arts and stuff with my father and stuff, but I never really, like, I didn't want to be breaking boards and shit like that. So I didn't really get into it. But I watched, and the guy was like, "You ever heard of MMA?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "What the heck is that?" And I walked outside, and there's a billboard for George St. Pierre. It's huge. I'm like in downtown New York. I'm like, "What the heck?" And I go to the video store, and I buy like $100 worth of King of the Cage videos, and it's all like Uriah Faber stuff. And I watch them, and I'm just blown away. And I went to my boss the next day and said, "Hey, I'm moving back to Pittsburgh in 2 months." And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." And I moved back. I almost went to a gym in New York. My buddy trained at one of the Henzo Gracie gyms in New York, and I went there, and I was going to start training there, but they were closed. And then Phil Nurse, that's the kickbox, the Muay Thai guy, right, from New York. That's GSP's coach. I went to his gym, but he was teaching the class, and he was like really busy. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll come back." I ended up never going back, and I moved back home instead. And I moved into the gym that I now own. It used to be Fight Club Pittsburgh, and now it's the Academy.
The Death Star, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Am I allowed to open these, or are they just like here for like decoration reason? No.
Who's going to stop you?
Yeah, I need to keep you with me.
So you took your last fight was short notice. This fight was short notice.
Yes.
Is there a part of that where you like it because there's maybe a little bit less pressure? And is that something that you're open to, or would you like to maybe get a fight in here where you actually get a proper camp?
Can I get a fight camp? Dog, seriously. Like, I mean, this fight, I still don't feel like I've had an official UFC fight. Because my first fight, it was just a throw up of emotions. I mean, like, oh my God, it was just overwhelming emotions. And this fight, it was just weird. Like, just not without the crowd and stuff. Like I came in kind of flat. I told me and my coaches talked. We're like, "Oh, we should have pushed a little bit more in the back," because I wasn't quite sweaty when I walked in there. And I came out kind of flat. And as the fight started to go, like I've had more alertness and worried about where I'm at when I'm sparring with my training partners. You know what I mean? It was just weird. Like once I noticed he couldn't touch me with his knee, I knew he didn't really have any other weapons besides his grappling. I'm like, okay, if he gets to my back, just don't let him choke me. I can roll him over. So my danger, I was never really afraid of anything. He hit me a couple of times, but believe me, like I said, my teammates, I have a little brother. He tries to kill me every time he spars me. So my teammates be trying to kill me. So it wasn't really anything I had never seen before.
Do you think that's just a symptom of just this sort of setup with the lack of crowd? Do you think fighters will get used to it, and maybe just yourself, that going in there and fighting in this environment again, you'll be able to get a quicker start the next time around?
Oh, I mean, like I'm cool with it. Like, I mean, because I didn't get nervous. Like normally before every fight, like people always ask me, "How do you feel?" I feel like I'm gonna pass out as I walk up to the cage. If you were to tell me you can go to sleep and everyone would still love you, I'd just fall over, just be gone. Like I feel like that for all of my local fights. Like my last local fight in Pittsburgh was a title defense. It was against Adam Moore, and I was super nervous. I mean, like, I thought I was gonna throw up in my mouth. I was super nervous. And my 2 UFC fights don't even compare to that. Now maybe it's just that I just know that I've worked to get to this point, so there's no need to be nervous. It is what it is, right? On my Max Holloway, like it is what it is. So I'm trying to teach my brain to do that. So maybe my brain's just doing that automatically, and I trust my skill set. I know the work that I put in with my coaches, Dave Sachs, Chris Williams, Master White Fang. So I mean, his name is Dan, but I call him Master White Fang. But I mean, like, so I put in the work. So I think my body just knows, like, okay, we're just going to run on command. So I think it's just getting more and more used to it.
And speaking of getting used to it, getting back in there, you know, you had the couple names that you were supposed to fight that fell through. I don't know if those are fights that you are still on the brain, that you want to get those back, or if there's any other person that
Yeah, man, I definitely would like to fight Azatar Osman. He's 12-0. He's undefeated. I'd like to fight him. Like I said, there's another guy that actually fight Luis Pinta, Joey. I can't think of his last name. Yeah, so Zonno. I mean, this has no disrespect, Carl. He's a solid fighter. I just want to see how I think we would get in there and tussle. Then I've always liked Yancy Medeiros, too. Like, he's a tough guy. I think we would go in there and he's like trains with Diaz brother. That'd be shooters trying to smack each other and shit. I think that'd be fun. So, I mean, those are 3 guys I'd like to fight. And there's a couple other guys out there, too. I just can't think of them at the time. Yes.
Just one for me. You mentioned you're a gym owner. How long have you owned the business, and how's it managing to survive during the pandemic?
So me and my girl, we have run the business for about a little bit over 2 years now, and for the past 3 months, I've just been paying rent and not making any money. It's been rough, you know. Thank God for my knockout bonus in my first fight. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the reason why I was fighting so hard. Like, again, like I said, like, I got a family. I got a little baby girl. I got 3 older kids. Man, there's 4 of us. Man, I got to make sure I can keep my gym open. So people rely on gyms and stuff like that. So I can't just close it down. It came close in my brain. I kind of came close to wanting to close it down and just open up a place for me to train and bring in people. And my girl Nicole, she kind of pushed me out of that. So I mean, I think this would be good for the city. I think it'll get people back in. Like we just now opened up. Like my gym, we've only reopened for 2 weeks on a small, shorter schedule. So, I mean, it's been hard, but shit, it's been a lot of people get a lot worse than I've got. So I can't sit here and complain because I can't get my gym open or stuff like that. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here fighting for like mad money. So. I'm not going to complain. A lot of people the world is struggling a lot right now, so I'm not going to sit here and like feel bad for myself. I'm just happy that the UFC and Dana White were able to do this and help us to support our families and stuff like that, and help you guys to keep working and everyone to keep working, right? So this is boosting everyone. So yeah, I want to keep going. Like I said, I turned 34 in October. That's old. In fighter years, that's old, man. I used to play basketball and shit, so my body hates me right about now. So I want to keep racking out fights, keep getting in wins. Like, like I told people, I'm not necessarily pushing to be a world champion. I know that usually takes about 4 to 5 years worth of time. Like, I want to be able to talk with my kids and stuff when I'm older. But I do want to get in here and make some fights that people never forget, man. I want some Robbie Lawler versus Roy McDonald type fights. I want blood, guts, and ass all over the place. And I want to keep pushing those. I want to keep doing them. And yeah, y'all gotta tell me to shut up sometimes. Anything else? Y'all good? Thank you. Take this or can I leave it?